support the report that has been brought before the House by the Committee of Labour Relations. Mr. Speaker, for some of us who went to school when KCC was KCC, we remember that this cadre of workers in the 80s, I believe there could be some who are working for KCC in the 80s. These are the workers who delivered school milk for primary school children during the Nyayo era, Mr. Speaker. Remember when a program was introduced by the late President Moi and school children were being given milk. These are the people who used to travel with trucks and deliver milk to school children. And we were all very happy. We used to look forward to going to school because we used to get that packet of milk. Yet, Mr. Speaker, I'm now a senator several years after, and we are discussing about people who retired, who have been waiting for their dues for the past 20 years. Honorable Senator Murugol, Chairman, chances are that some of these people will die before they ever enjoy the fruits of their labor. You know, some of the things we do in this country, Mr. Speaker, are inhuman, completely inhuman. Even if Jesus Christ was to come today, very few of us will go to heaven. Because how do you deny workers their rights, people who have served the country with distinction, Mr. Speaker? So if there is a time that we need to speak to the government of the day, the Uda administration, because the committee has made life easy for them. Yeah. We have given them a through pass, so to speak, and recommended that pay these workers so that we also put a smile to their faces, Mr. Speaker. Even if it's me, after I serve my tenure in this house, all of us, once you retire, you want to go home with your dues, Mr. Speaker. I was cracking a joke the other day with Senator Malala, and I was telling him, I hope the UDA party has paid you your dues, because in the committee we are dealing with Kenyans who have been waiting for the last 20 years. Even Alwale, I don't know whether Alwale gets some dues after being removed from the position of whip. And I don't know why we're having an onslaught against sons of the Luya nation. I'm hearing now somebody wants to also go after Senator Sifuna, Mr. Speaker. I'm saying this with a light touch because, Mr. Speaker, anybody you dismiss from office, I'm saying this with a serious note because I'm from the Committee of Labor myself, Labor Relations. If you serve a party as SG and they relieve you of your services, let them pay you your dues. Even Senator Uruoba, who was fired by UDA, we expect her to get her dues. That is fairness. Because you have told her you don't want her to be a nominated senator. You have fired her. She has gone back wherever to take care of her young child. Pay her dues, Mr. Speaker. It's the same spirit this report is saying. Once people have served, they have left office, pay them the soonest, Mr. Speaker. If you go to countries like Australia, where they have what they call is it superannuation or something? You retire and you get your money. These are the Europeans you see in Mombasa, enjoying at the beach sort of Mombasa. So let's have the same standard being applied to Kenyan workers. I'm happy, and for once, Chairman, Senator Murugol, I hope the recommendations we are making, Mr. Speaker, we can make a follow-up. It seems there is somebody who was in office at that time who committed some acts of fraud, some criminal acts, and made the circle to lose about 400 million shillings. And we have made recommendation that the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, within 6 months, must table a report before this House to show us the outcome of investigations. Speaker, sir, you have seen the kind of altercations we have had between some committees of this House and the governors. You know why governors don't fear this House anymore? It's because you recommend that investigations be undertaken against Governor X. Debate in this House, we pass a resolution, Mr. Speaker, and that becomes the end of the matter. We will never make a follow-up on that file to know what was the outcome of the investigation, because we may not force DCI or EACC to recommend that somebody must be charged in a court of law. But they owe us a duty as a house to tell us what was the outcome of the investigations. If we recommend that you investigate, come back to us and tell us, we have done an investigation, Mr. Speaker. The results we have gotten may not sustain a charge in a court of law that can lead to a conviction. We will say yes. But, Mr. Speaker, to receive a report from the House, this is how many pages? This is over 200 pages, Mr. Speaker. And then you put it in the shelves. It's not right. I'm recommending that this committee should make a follow-up on this matter so that in the next 6 months again, we make a follow-up. Look at contributions to SACCO. I contribute to Bunge SACCO. I could as well take that money and enjoy lunch every day. But because I'm making a saving, Mr. Speaker, I have all the faith and trust that my money will never disappear from Bunge SACCO. But the case we have here, Mr. Speaker, money disappeared from Maziwa SACCO. That's somebody's salary, deducted by the SACCO, but then when you want your money, you're told the money is gone. I don't know, the company has been put into receivership. That is not the way we should treat our Kenyan workers. And I want to propose to the committee that instead of waiting for the ministry to make recommendations on what amendments we can propose to the relevant laws, this is something we can do as a committee. Let us make a proposal on amending the law. We bring it to this House, Mr. Speaker. It is passed, and then we can at least help the future workers who may find themselves in such a situation. I am also calling upon my good friend, Kotu, Secretary General of Kotu. He should also be proactive in protecting his workers, Mr. Speaker. Before this matter came to the House, for us senators to go through and make our recommendations, what has Kotu done? Nothing, Mr. Speaker. Today, lawyers all over the country, including myself, you can see evidence. We walked to the Supreme Court, Mr. Speaker, and we participated in an election presided over by IEBC to pick the next president of the Law Society of Kenya, who will serve us for 2 years, not for eternity, for 2 years, Mr. Speaker. I've made a proposal, Mr. Speaker, that we should also amend the law that governs elections for court, Mr. Speaker, so that the workers of this country can also have the freedom to choose their leaders, including the Secretary General, through a secret ballot in an election, Mr. Speaker. I have no problem with my good friend, as Secretary General Atwoli, but let us be progressive. When some of us were elected as President of Law Society, we used to vote through the ballot. Senator Mungatana will tell you here. We used to you post the ballot to the members vote, then they send it back. Some used to go to offices and collect. But now we are doing it in a very credible manner. We have polling stations. When I went to the Supreme Court, my polling station was polling station number 1. So that the workers can also elect people who can bring new ideas to the trade unions. So that this kind of suffering that we are seeing doesn't happen, you know. When I was in secondary school, Atwoli was in the trade union. I went to university, Atwoli was in the trade union. I became the chair of Law Society of Kenya. I dealt with Atwoli. When I was serving in anti-corruption in 2007 to 2011, Atwoli was serving with me. Today, I'm serving my second term as a senator. Atwoli is still the Secretary General of Kotu. We have had so many presidents of Law Society since the time I exited in 2007. Let us also give workers a chance to elect other people who can take care of the interests of workers. Did you see the salaries these people are earning, Mr. Speaker? We created the Salaries Remuneration Commission so that we can harmonize salaries of Kenyans. Today, and I have no problem, I'm saying congratulations to our MCAs. The president has recommended that their salaries be reviewed. It's a good thing. We want everybody to earn a good salary, to get a good pension, to get good car grant. But I'm asking Atwoli, these Kenyans, the ones we call hustler, how is his salary? What is Atwoli doing? Other than in an election you hear him making declarations, like last time he told us, there's a president who stood a chance of hanging himself because he was not going to win an election, though that was not true. But what is he doing, really, as a representative of workers to ensure that he improves the salary, working standards of workers? As people are getting this very good pension, what are the Kenyan workers getting in return, Mr. Speaker? A time has come, Mr. Speaker, for us as a House, Chairman Murgor, you are my chairman. That bill is before your committee. Let us fast track that bill. Let us stop this thing of people being locked in Tomboya and then they endorse and say, so and so will be our Secretary General. Let us emulate what the lawyers have done today. We allow the workers of Kenya to also elect their Secretary General in a process that is as credible as what we have done today in the Law Society of Kenya. That is the spirit of the Constitution. Cast your vote, secret ballot. It is presided over by IEBC, so that whoever wins has a full mandate of people from that sector. If it's the workers, if it's the lawyers, that is the way to go. This archaic thing of saying people gather in Kisumu and then they just make a declaration that we have again returned our our Secretary General for another term is not right. Finally, I also want to really thank the courts because, Mr. Speaker, this matter has been litigated in our courts of law from the High Court all the way to the Court of Appeal, Mr. Speaker. And the courts have ruled that these former employees should be paid. So even if the ministry concerned, I think the Ministry of Cooperatives, was to pay, they are already covered by the court decision, Chairman. So let's appeal to the Cabinet Secretary concerned to ensure that he pays these workers, because when I think of people who have served government, Mr. Speaker, for many years and you retire without a pension, it's a very painful thing. It's a very painful thing. You know, my own mother, Mr. Speaker, used to work for the Ministry of Health. She worked at a health center called Keroka Health Center for a long time. And I thought that my mom was working permanent and pensionable. Having served for close to 35 years, when she retired, I tried to follow her pension at the Ministry of Health. I was told my mother was a casual worker, and she was very dejected. She went home with nothing, having served for all that. So I feel the pain of these Kenyans. I feel their pain. I remember how my mother felt, even up to today. She always looks back and says, I served this government, and the government never gave me any pension. She was under an honest belief that she was permanent and pensionable, but unfortunately she was serving as a casual worker with a full uniform as a nurse. But when she retired, she discovered that she was actually never confirmed into full-time employment. And I have another case of a chief from my county of Nyamira, who also retired, who actually resigned as a teacher, was employed as an assistant chief, promoted to full position of chief. When he retired, he was told, we never confirmed you into permanent and pensionable. We need to really treat our workers well, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, so that when they retire in their years of old age, they have something that can put a smile in their faces. So I support this report that has been brought to the House by the Committee of Labor and Social Services, and thank you, Chairman, for the good work you are doing on behalf of the Kenyan workers, and I hope the people of West Pokot know that they made a right choice by electing you as their senator. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. I call upon the mover to reply, Senator Murgur.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm very thankful to all the people that contributed to this motion. People contributed very positively and with concern for the people that worked for former KCC. And as Senator Omogeni has said, this is a group of people that really delivered, especially at the time of former or the late Moi. And so this is the group of people that did that work. And therefore, I'm very thankful to those people that contributed. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Order 663, I request you to defer the putting of the question to a later date. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, since we don't have the numbers, we are going to defer the putting of the question and move to the next order. Clerk.
Order number 11, the Electronic Equipment Disposal, Recycling and Reuse Bill, Senate Bills number 5 of 2025, second reading. Resumption of debate interrupted on Wednesday, 18th February 2026, afternoon sitting.
Yeah. Since there's no interest to debate, Senator Peris Tobiko, you can move to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, as I reply, let me thank the members who contributed to this bill, Mr. Speaker. And I saw the passion and the interest, Mr. Speaker, of members in the passage of this bill. Mr. Speaker, my special gratitude to Senator Mungatana, who seconded the bill and Mr. Speaker, moved very passionately and even added a lot more, to the contribution that I had made, Mr. Speaker. And when Senator Mungatana was talking, Mr. Speaker, he reminded us about the world, the direction the world has gone in terms of AI, and talked about robots. I think he said he saw this in China or somewhere like that. And it reminded me, the other day I was in the US, Mr. Speaker, and I saw robots actually replacing doctors. They are now having AI doctors, to treat, diagnose the people, Mr. Speaker. And so, because of the world going digital, going AI, and electronic equipments are getting into the market in all forms, Mr. Speaker, it implies that we need to then get away to manage what will be churned out, eventually, because everything has a lifespan, and these machines will not be operational forever, Mr. Speaker. As Mr. Speaker, I thank Senator Manso, who also contributed to the bill, Senator Cherargei, Mr. Speaker, Senator Wambua, Senator Thangwa, Senator Olekina, Senator Sigei. Mr. Speaker, these members did a lot of contributions. And I just wanted to say, when a bill is on the floor of the House, it becomes the property of the House, Mr. Speaker. And members can propose amendments. Members can, propose amendments for value addition to make it a better piece of legislation that will work for the country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and so I accept and welcome those members who feel they will want to move amendments on this bill. Mr. Speaker, they are most welcome. Mr. Speaker, but let me correct the notion of that I gathered from the debate yesterday, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Senator Wambua had said that we should be careful so that we don't pass a bill that will claw back on issues of devolution. And Mr. Speaker, let me clarify that the only thing the national government was going to do was in the besides the policy directions is the creation of the national plant, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, the rest of the systems, operations, collections was going to be done at the county, and the counties were going to do county-specific laws that will govern the whole thing of the e-waste management, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, there is nothing that will be clawed back in terms of devolution, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also noted from the contribution of Senator Olekina when he said Mama Mboga will be expected to take her dead phone all the way to the collection center. That cannot be further from the truth, Mr. Speaker. What this bill anticipates is a situation like what is happening now in the general garbage collection, when you see in the streets people who are collecting plastics. They are doing this for monetary gain. Even now for handsets, equipments, laptops, and all other machineries. Mr. Speaker, those who will be dealing with that business will actually come knocking at our doors to look for these equipments, the dead phones, the old laptops. They'll go to hospitals, they'll go to institutions to ask for, the machineries that are no longer in use. They'll come to the Senate, collect the equipments that were removed here the other day, Mr. Speaker. And so no one will be expecting a Mama Mboga to take her dead phone to the collection center. It will be those who will be making money, who will go seeking and looking for these equipments to take to the collection centers. I hope I have clarified for those members who had concerns, Mr. Speaker. But otherwise, Mr. Speaker, the contribution was very well noted, and I'm just, it is my sincere hope that logic will prevail in the National Assembly for them to see that this piece of legislation will work for both the devolved units and even at the national level, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I reply, pursuant to Standing Order 66(3), I request that you defer putting of the question to a later date, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. The putting of the question and division is hereby deferred, and we shall move to the next order, Clerk.
Order number 12, motion, consideration of the report of the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Titus Njoroge concerning his dismissal by the African Inland Church, AIC, of Kenya and non-payment of arrears owed to him.
Chairperson, Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The motion to adopt the report on a petition by Mr. Titus Njoroge concerning the dismissal and non-payment of arrears by the African Inland Church, AIC. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the motion that the Senate adopts the report on of the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Titus Njoroge concerning the dismissal and non-payment of arrears by African Inland Church, AIC, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 27th November 2025. The issue raised in the petition by Mr. Titus Njoroge were contractual dispute whereby the petitioner claimed to have been in the employment of African Inland Church on permanent and pensionable terms. However, he did not receive his salary and benefits for the period of October 2024 to April 2025, despite performing his duties. The petitioner submitted that the AIC management informed him that his employment contract was for a term of 2 years and terminated him without following due process. Mr. Speaker, sir, the petitioner stated that he was never given any notice nor termination letter, and he therefore prayed that the Senate make an order for compensation of salary arrears and allowances to be paid in full, and calculate the amount to be paid after salary review, and secondly, make any other recommendation necessary in the circumstances. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee held a parliamentary meeting on Tuesday, 22 July 2025, to deliberate on the issues raised and the documentation submitted, and established that the petitioner had already filed a complaint on 25th March 2025 with the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, State Department for Labor and Skilled Development in Muranga. The committee then resolved that the arbitration process through the AIC internal dispute resolution structure continue under the supervision of the labor inspector in Muranga County. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee has been monitoring and following up on the process and is pleased to report that the matter has now been resolved amicably with the petitioner having been reinstated in his workplace and a process towards the payment of his arrears formalized. This has been confirmed by the labor inspector, and the committee therefore wishes to report that the matter has been settled and closed. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee extends its appreciation to parties who volunteered to submissions and the contributions to the resolution of this matter. I also wish to express my appreciation to my fellow senators for their contribution to this matter. The committee thanks the Office of the Speaker of the Senate and Clerk of the Senate for support and extended to committee in the execution of this matter. And so I'm very grateful, and therefore I beg to move. And I ask Senator Mungatana to support.
Senator Mungatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion moved by Honorable Murgor, the Chair for Labor and Social Welfare Standing Committee. Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate Senator Murgor and the committee for taking their time to listen to Mr. Titus Joroge, who brought in a petition on his rights. And Mr. Speaker, because of approaching the Labor Committee, this matter was quickly resolved and he was able to get what is rightfully his. Mr. Speaker, this speaks to the weight and gravity and the respect that this House bears when citizens in this republic suffer from different injustices, when even institutions fail to give the citizens what they desire, then, Mr. Speaker, the Senate of the Republic of Kenya will stand with the citizens of this republic, and their rights will be affirmed like they did for Mr. Joroge in his petition to the Senate. Mr. Speaker, what more can I say but to also congratulate the African Inland Church, which was involved in this matter because Mr. Titus Joroge had come to make a complaint against the church on account of issues relating to the labor contract that existed between himself and the church. Mr. Speaker, that church is where I was brought up, and that church is where I went to Sunday school. Mr. Speaker, the church of AIC in Ngao, which is the biggest AIC church in Tana River County, that is where I received my baptismal certificate, Mr. Speaker. And I'm very proud to say that our church actually went out of its way and settle this matter without much ado. This speaks, Mr. Speaker, to the kind of leadership that exists in the African Inland Church. It started many years ago, Mr. Speaker, in 1895 as the African Inland Mission. It was started by a Scottish-American missionary whose name was Peter Scott. When we were growing up, my father, who was an elder in the church, although he had his own work he was doing, he was an elder in the church, always used to talk about the Scott Bible College in Machakos. I didn't know why they venerated Mr. Peter Scott, just to learn that Peter Scott was the Scottish-American missionary who came, established this mission as a Protestant church, and it has grown to be one of the biggest. And Mr. Speaker, during the days of President Moi, this was one church where he continuously attended. And this church continues to add a lot to the Kenyan society. The very famous Kijabe Mission Hospital belongs to this church, and it has assisted many, many people. And Mr. Speaker, many people have gotten extremely good service at Kijabe Mission Hospital at a very reasonable price. So I want to thank this church for the work they have done and continue to do. We hope they will continue in that same spirit. In the event that there are disputes, then they will be able to resolve them in the manner this one has done. And Mr. Speaker, we appeal to all Kenyans of goodwill. Whenever you have disputes, please try and resolve them where you can. And but if the things become difficult, you have your Senate in the Republic of Kenya to stand with you, as we did for this case. I want to thank the chair and his committee for the work they have done. What more can we say but to congratulate them, as I beg to second. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Peris Topiko. There being no senators interested to debate, Honourable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Titus Njoroge concerning his dismissal by the African Inland Church, AIC of Kenya, and non-payment of arrears owed to him, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 27th November 2025. I call upon the mover to reply.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply.
Chairperson, Labour Committee, could you put a request to defer the putting of the question and the voting on this matter?
Mr. Speaker, I pursuant to Standing Order 663, I request that you defer putting of the question to a later date.
Thank you. It is so deferred. Next order.
Order number 13, motion, consideration of the report of the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on a petition to the Senate by Ms. Beatrice Likwop concerning people living with invisible disability.
The Chair, Labour.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The motion to adopt the report on Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on petition by Ms. Beatrice Likwop concerning people living with invisible disability. Madam Speaker, I beg to move the motion that the Senate adopts the report on Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on petition to Senate by Ms. Beatrice Likwop concerning people living with invisible disability laid on the table of the Senate Tuesday, 2nd December 2025. Madam Speaker, a petition was submitted to the Senate through the clerk by Ms. Beatrice Likwop on behalf of individuals living with invisible disabilities. It was read to the Senate by Speaker on Wednesday, 2nd October 2024, and subsequently referred to the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare for consideration in accordance with the standing orders. The petition raised concerns that the petition raised concerns that a person living with invisible disabilities were insufficiently recognized and included in government policies and programs at both national and county levels. It further alleged that policies and administrative practices within the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection and the National Council of Persons Living with Disabilities create barriers to accessing essential life-saving treatment and medication, while specialized diagnostic services such as EEG and ECG were largely invisible or unaffordable at the grassroots level. The petition also contended the existing programs targeting at persons living disabilities were inadequate, and for those invisible disabilities and corruption in allocation of benefits, funding, and employment opportunities within relevant public bodies and partner organizations, including the Red Cross, the World Vision, disproportionately disadvantage this group. The petitioner therefore prayed that the Senate intervenes and urges the government to formally recognize and integrate the persons living with invisible disabilities in policies and administrative frameworks, and ensure the consistent availability of essential medicines, specialized treatment, and qualified persons in referral health facilities. Madam Speaker, the committee held several sittings with relevant stakeholders on various dates and received submissions on the petition. From these engagements, the committee observed that although Kenya's legislative and policy framework recognized invisible disabilities, including through Persons with Disabilities Act 2025, which mandates the promotion of awareness and rights of persons living disabilities, there remains a significant implementation gap. In particular, there is a lack of disregarded data on invisible disabilities, which hampers effective planning and resource allocation, little public awareness to address persistent misconceptions and misclassification of invisible disabilities, and the absence of concrete action plans, measurable targets, and time-bound frameworks from the stakeholders, notably the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, the Ministry of Health, and the county governments, to address the concerns raised. The committee is therefore commending that the national and the county government fully implement the Persons with Disability Act 2025 within the 6 months, and that as the Act adequately addresses the concerns raised in the petition. In further comments, that the National Council for Persons with Disabilities within 3 months and develop guidelines for classification, registration, and support of persons living with invisible disabilities, and report back to the committee. In addition, the committee advised that the National Council of Persons with Disabilities collaborate with relevant government agencies established within 3 months, and robust the monitoring and evaluation framework to track the implementation of the Act, with particular focus on individuals' disabilities, and submit annual progress report to the committee. The committee also urges the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, the Ministry of Health, the county government, and immediate launch targeting public education and campaigns at the national and the county levels to raise awareness of invisible disabilities and rights guaranteed under the law. Finally, the committee recommends that the Ministry of Health, in partnership with the county governments, develop and implement within 3 months, a phased plan to expand access essential services to grassroots levels. Madam Speaker, the committee thanks the offices of the Speaker and Senate Clerk of the Senate and for the support extended to the committee to execution of the mandate. The committee further extends its appreciation to the stakeholders who availed themselves of the meetings, and notably the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection and Petitioner, Mrs. Beatrice Likuop, on behalf of persons living with invisible disabilities. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and so I beg to move.
Who is seconding that motion?
May I ask Senator Mungatana to also second this?
Senator Mungatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to second the motion by the Honorable Chairman Murgo. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I want to start by congratulating Honorable Murgo in the very able manner in which he has chaired this committee and the way they handled the report and all the stakeholders, and in the manner in which he has tabled this motion and moved it. I thank him for the work they have done. Madam Speaker, what Honorable Senator Murgor and his committee have raised is a very serious matter affecting many Kenyans. There are disabilities that we can see when we look at them. You can see them, but there are invisible disabilities. People are looking fine, but they are not fine. And what this motion is seeking is a recognition that there are disabilities that are invisible, and that within the whole community of disabilities, even within the Persons Living with Disabilities Act, there is a need to disaggregate and to make it clear that there are those who you cannot visibly recognize their disabilities. Madam Speaker, what this committee is dealing with is a real practical thing. There was a police officer, Madam Speaker, who was discharged from the services because he ran away. He ran away after witnessing that all his friends in the forces, in the force, police force, where they were coming from, they were killed by bandits, Madam Speaker. And this man just ran away and went home and never came back. And Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, in that particular TV clip, they showed him carrying stones. And he was being questioned, why are you here? He said, I'm a qualified police officer. But 3 years ago, I saw something like death staring at me and I ran away. And they told him, can you take some salutes and run, can you march? And he did march. Madam Speaker, that is not an officer who should have been fired. That is an officer who ought to have been rehabilitated. Madam Speaker, when you look at him, he looked fine. He was just going with his normal business, carrying stones from here to another place. But I thank God that they managed to find him, and he was better off, and the force said they would take him to rehabilitation, and they will give him back his job. And this is something I want to congratulate Inspector General Kanja, because it happened recently. It is not something that is theoretical. So, Madam Speaker, what the Senate committee is dealing with is a reality. There are people, Madam Speaker, who are suffering from autism. When you meet an autistic person, you would not know that is an autistic person. But, Madam Speaker, they are carrying an invisible disability. There are those, Madam Speaker, who suffer from attention deficit hypertension disorder. These are people, if you look at them, they look okay, but they are not okay. There are those who suffer from epilepsy. There are those who suffer from dyslexia. They have a slow learning capacity. When they are taken to school, they are, discriminated upon. They are treated differently as if they are not proper school children. Some of them have even been told by their own teachers that you will never amount to anything. And yet they are suffering from slow learning capacity. Madam Speaker, it has taken ages to be able to actually identify these conditions and be able to deal with them. And it is good that we are going to the next stage, because what the petitioner brought before the Senate is to ask that these non-visible or invisible disabilities be recognized properly, be given their space. The petitioner is saying that, we are not being given our space, even when it comes to allocation of resources. They are not being given, Madam Speaker, what belongs to them. And Madam Speaker, these things can happen to anybody, the best of us. Madam Speaker, in this House of Parliament, many years ago, we had one of our friends and a member serving in the House who was attacked by bandits. And Madam Speaker, when we came back after a long struggle with sickness, that honorable member, I don't want to mention his name, but he became completely unable to walk. So he used to approach the chamber using a wheelchair, and a very famous member, Madam Speaker. So it can happen to any person. Madam Speaker, people have suffered depression. You cannot see, you cannot understand what is happening, and you can't see when someone is undergoing depression. Madam Speaker, some people suffer from bipolar. Right now, they are laughing. In a few minutes, they are not okay. And Madam Speaker, our own askaris, those who have come from the war zones, they have suffered post-traumatic disorders. Because when they come back, Madam Speaker, the stress that they underwent when they were out in the field is affecting them. It affects their families, affects how they behave. But when they are in our matatus, they are in the Uber, they are walking in the vehicles, they are on borders, you cannot know that this person is not well. Any of us here, Madam Speaker, can suffer hearing loss. And Madam Speaker, we don't have a specific way of treating these people, even under the current Persons with Disability Act provisions. So, Madam Speaker, I want to congratulate the committee for taking their time to listen. And I would urge them that there are good grounds for them to introduce some amendments to the Persons Living with Disabilities Act. This act, Madam Speaker, that was passed in 2025, there's still space for amendment. And now that this motion is going to pass in this House, it may be time for the chairman and this committee to consider bringing amendments to this act so that those who are living with disabilities that are invisible can also benefit from resources that are located by virtue of the Persons with Disability Act 2025. Madam Speaker, with all those many remarks, I wish to thank the chairman and I beg to second. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on a petition to the Senate by Ms. Beatrice Liquop concerning people living with invisible disability laid on the table of the Senate Tuesday, 2nd December 2025. Honourable Senators, I don't see any interest. I now call upon the mover to reply.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. First, let me thank my colleague, Senator Mungatana, for seconding this motion, and I thank him very much because he has highlighted this situation in to some of us. We really do not know and recognize this situation as being a problem because, like he said, some of the people act very normal and you can never tell that they are really suffering, but they are there, and there are many. And therefore, this bill seeks to recognize those people so that they can get adequate services in wherever they are, around maybe health facilities and so on. And so I'm very grateful to Senator Mungatana, and therefore I beg to move and ask, I beg to reply, and therefore, Madam Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 663, I request you to defer putting of the question to this to later date. Thank you.
Thank you. The putting of the question is so deferred. Honourable Senators, I wish to defer the business on order number 14, number 15, number 16, all the way to 22, because we don't have the quorum for the Committee of the Whole. We also don't have the necessary quorum to transact. Orders number 23 to 30. We don't have the movers present to actually move the orders number 23 to 30. Honourable Senators, there being no other business on the order paper, the Senate stands adjourned until Tuesday, 24th February 2026 at 2:30 p.m.
Stop taking meeting notes and let ClickUp AI Note Taker do it for you. It allows you to focus on your meetings, not your notes. It captures everything, from action items to key decisions. And after every call, you get a clear summary. But where it really goes to the next level is that it's the only AI note taker that connects your meetings to the rest of your work. So stop stressing about taking notes and get the AI note taker that works for you. Get ClickUp AI Note Taker for your next meeting.
Hi, guys.
Tulia. Mambo.
Hi.
Uko fiti? Mimi niko fiti. Kuna ugali.
Wewe pia kuwa serious.
Ugali